In people with type 1 diabetes, shortly after starting the insulin therapy, some patients undergo partial clinical remission phase, which is also known as the honeymoon phase in type 1 diabetes. During this phase, the pancreas produces some insulin. Therefore, it is easier for a patient with type 1 diabetes to control their blood glucose levels using smaller amounts of insulin. This phase can last for a few weeks to months. However, it is important to know that this is a temporary phase and insulin need eventually increases. HONEY is a study in which we aim to identify novel biomarkers of type 1 diabetes during different phases of the disease. This is a cross-sectional as well as prospective study. The cross-sectional part of the study will compare the biomarkers in people with and without type 1 diabetes, and the prospective part of the study will track these biomarkers longitudinally for 6 months. Additionally, we will specifically investigate the biomarkers during the honeymoon phase of the disease. Though HONEY was a simple study, the biggest challenge that we faced was enrolling the participants. Shortly after the study began, the lockdown for COVID was implemented. Therefore, the study was halted for a long time. Additionally, since we wanted to capture the early and the honeymoon phase of the study, we only included adolescents who were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes within the 3 months. Therefore, it was challenging to identify these kids who met the eligibility criteria of the study. We are lucky that we have a strong collaboration with Advent Health Pediatric Endocrinology, Diabetes and Metabolism Clinic at Winter Park. This collaboration enabled us to successfully complete the study. The last visit of the last participant was in January 2025. Typically, not every patient with type 1 diabetes experiences honeymoon phase, but we managed to capture a considerable number of participants who had partial clinical remission of the disease. The samples from the study participants are being analyzed, and we are hopeful that we will learn something important from this study soon.